The Brothers Karamazov, Book 9, Chapter 7. After 2 chapters of pleading in chapters 5 and 6 of Book 9 by the prosecutors to Dmitri, now Dmitri is finally ready to give up on his pride and to revel in his shame. And for the sake of truth and for the sake of his own neck, he's going to tell the source of the money. And drum roll, please. Where did the money come from? It came from nowhere. It's his money. What do you mean it's his money? Well, he says it's not really mine, but it's mine, kind of. It's been mine for a month. I stole it a month ago. I've had it for a month. And then we learn where he's had that money and how much money it was. So he originally stole Katerina Ivanova's 3,000 rubles a month ago, and then he went and he partied, and he tried to woo or seduce Grushenka, and he told everyone in the whole world, evidently, more on that to follow next chapter. He told everyone in the whole world, evidently, everyone privately, publicly, hundreds, thousands of people have heard Dmitri say that he spent 3,000 rubles that night. Now and only now, a month later, when it's super convenient, if you're not Dmitri, that all of a sudden he changes the total to 50% of that. I only spent 1,500, and the other 1,500 I have right here. And so he beats his chest. And we said that this was an illusion when we were talking about Alyosha and Dmitri outside Fyodor's house. I don't remember when that was, books and books and books ago. And Dmitri beats his chest like that. And so now we know what that was pointing to. We could have never known at the time what that was pointing to, but now we know what that is pointing to, that he has sown his own thievery. He has sown his own scoundrelness right there on his chest is his guilt, and he's been carrying it around. And he says, that's why I've been acting like such a jerk. That's why I've been taking wisp of toes out and beating them up. That's why I've been attacking my father. Why? Because I believed myself to be a scoundrel, because it was like an albatross around my neck. Here is the guilt and the weight of my scoundrelness wrapped around my neck the whole time. And then the prosecutor looks at Dmitri's confession and says, well, of course, this is your confession. This is pure nerves. So again, such a Western psychological interpretation. You're just saying this, Dmitri, because of your nerves. Wouldn't it have been better? And so now the prosecutors are going to give their own, again, this is all a hermeneutical question. Wouldn't it have been easier, Dmitri, to just tell Katerina the truth than all this lying and sneaking around and shouting that you have spent these rubles? Wouldn't it have been easier just to go back to Katerina, tell her exactly what would happen, even borrowed more money from her to pay off debts, and you could have figured this out with her? And then Dmitri comes back at the prosecutor and says, you must not understand what it's like to be a moral person. You act like it's so easy just to call yourself a scoundrel. I can't be a scoundrel. I've got to be better than that. I'm a different person than that. That's not who I am. There's a weird, and we could even call it perverted, or we could even call it a wrong honor code going on with Dmitri, but he sure has one. He sure has a moral compass that he's following. It just doesn't jive with the moral compass that would make sense to the police. So then there's this question, okay, so you say you had this money and an amulet. You say that this was tied around your neck. Okay, well, that's fine. Well, show it to us. Dmitri says, I dropped it. The prosecution obviously asks, okay, where did you drop it? In the market, in the streets, on the way. Do you know whereabouts? And so Dmitri doesn't know, and he's really giving them nothing to go on whatsoever. So this chapter is important because it gives us, I think, in all of Book 9, information that Book 8 doesn't give us. The previous chapter gave us the information via Dmitri that the gate was closed, and this chapter gives us the information where all the money has come from. So we didn't know those two facts. We didn't know the gate was closed, and we didn't know that Dmitri had the money around his neck. So those are two revelations made in Book 9. The other, I guess you could call it the third, is just exactly the information about the envelope being under Fyodor's pillow, but we kind of pretty much already knew that in Book 8. We saw it, as it were, as it's shown to Dmitri. And finally, in a kind of a sweet, tender moment at the end of this chapter, Dmitri wants everyone to know that Grushenka is absolutely, totally innocent and not culpable, and she should go free, and she should have a wonderful life and not be brought into this messy affair whatsoever.